Hello, beautiful souls. Today's episode is so good. And before we jump in, I have some exciting news to share. If you've ever wondered where you're blocking money, this is for you. I've created a free quiz to diagnose your money wounds so you can heal them and unblock yourself to receive more money. Just go to moneywoundsquiz.com and answer 6 quick questions to get your insanely accurate and potent results. And if you're loving my vibe and want to work one-on-one to call in more feminine energy wealth, I would love to hear from you. You can shoot me a DM on social media or go to emilywilcox.com to learn more. Welcome back to the show. I am so excited today because I have an amazing guest, Angelica Ventrice, who is the founder and CEO of Angelica Ventrice Health Coaching. She's been in the health and wellness industry for over 11 years and started her career after she went through her own 35-pound weight loss journey. So she felt called to help other women transform their lives just like she did. And she has a deep passion for health, wellness, and entrepreneurship. Initially, Angelica began as a solopreneur in the online space and now has a full team that works for her. Last year, her business tripled in growth to multiple 6 figures. And Angelica and her team are passionate about transforming women's lives from the inside out through mindset coaching, along with nutrition, fitness, and gut health in her flagship Fit for Life program. Angelica, I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so you and I know each other because we are in a mastermind together.
Yes, one of my first masterminds. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to meet all you ladies.
Wait, you went from like no mastermind to the hypermind?
Literally. So I had been in like other business coaching programs, but they weren't real like mastermind, like the feel of this one. And yeah, I applied for it thinking that there wasn't openings till next year. I was like, I'm just going to apply now to get in for next year. Yeah. And then I joined another mastermind. And then the next day I got into the hypermind. So now I'm in 2 masterminds after not being in any. It's okay.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. I too joined thinking I was going to be on a wait list for a while. And then I was like, oh, okay. Actually, this is really meant to happen sooner than I was actually thinking.
Divine timing, right? It's like divine timing. I just accepted it. I wasn't going to put it off because I knew I wanted to be in it. So I was like, okay, it's meant to be now.
That's exactly right. And, you know, for anybody listening, like the reason that I'm laughing is because I have actually been in several masterminds and they all have their own flavor, but the hypermind is very next level in terms of it's very active. So like if you're out of Voxer for a few hours, you might have like 100 unread or unlistened. Yeah.
More. And for me, I live in Maui. Yeah, I live in Maui, so I'm like 6 hours behind a lot of you ladies. So by the time I wake up, I'm like, oh man, I gotta catch up. It's
yes. And then it's this real mix of like the most spiritual woo-woo stuff you've ever heard, insane money celebrations, X-rated sexual escapades, and like everything in between. Like it is its own unique experience. So it's just cracking me up to imagine like not really having other mastermind experience and then just jumping in and being like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm just rolling with it. I'm a pretty open person. So I'm about it. It's fine. It's all good.
So I'm super impressed that you have been in entrepreneurship for 11 years, that you've built your business to the size that you have, and that honestly, that you haven't sought out this type of support before. So have you worked with like other coaches and mentors or group programs?
Yeah. So basically, I took my business online 3 years ago. So before that, I was doing all in-person nutrition and fitness coaching. So actually I've been like an entrepreneur in the online space for 3 years. But before that, doing my own thing in person for a few years. So right when I went online, I went into business coaching right off the bat because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm doing. And I have no problem putting the money down to further myself. Yeah. So invested without having the money. I will say that because at the time I was charging $100 an hour doing the nutrition coaching. Yeah. Invested thousands of dollars into my first business coaching program, then moved to their next level, then shifted around different coaches, life coach, business coach. And then I did have some coaching programs. They just they didn't really feel like a mastermind. There was a group of people, we had the group calls, but it didn't always feel like masterminding. Does that make sense? So
Totally.
Yes, I've been in other things. Some of them had great people in it. Some of them I didn't really vibe and I ended up leaving. But the Hypermind that I'm in now and then the other program I'm in, I bought both of them are very different but very great, and they complement each other. So the timing worked out because the other one I'm in is very strategy driven. And you know, the one we're in is not strategy driven. It's energy, it's woo, it's, you know, spirituality, like you said. So they actually really complement each other. But yeah, I've been in other things, just not to this high level.
Gotcha. So I'm curious for you, because what I feel like happens a lot in health coaching is that you start out in kind of the trading time for dollars sort of a situation. And it's very hard to build a multi-six-figure business with a full team trading time for dollars. So I imagine that at a certain point you started charging for outcomes and transformations and that kind of thing. Was that a hard hurdle for you? Like, did you have to go through any like worthiness work to kind of get to the pricing that you're at now?
Yes, for sure. And still sometimes inner battles. Making the shift to go from charging people hourly to just charging people for a transformation program was very strange to me, because I'm like, well, I'm on the phone with them for an hour and then I work on their, like, everything to me was, I was so used to the hourly, you know? So that was very hard for me. And I remember the first program I ever had, it was 3 months and it was like $1,800. And then I slowly went up to like $2,000, then $2,200, and then just, you know, incrementally went up. But it was definitely a strange shift for me. And then even as I've grown and we have a wait list for our program and I've raised the prices, even still sometimes there's that little like, am I worth this? And then it's like, it's those silly things that creep in. We all have the, you know, the self-love beliefs at times, but just really anchoring in and knowing, of course, I'm worth it. And if the program is worth it, that's really what it's about. It's the program is transformational. And I have a team of coaches that work under me now. So I'm not doing all the coaching. I do more. What I do now is like the mindset and the business coaching.
Yeah.
Separate from me. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And I think it is true. It's like we attach our own self-worth to the pricing, and it's like, it has nothing to do with that unless we make it have to do with that.
Exactly. Yeah. You're totally right. Right. It's not, you know, it's not personal. It's not a personal thing in a sense too. It's like, it's the whole transformation, the result, the amazing experience they're going to have. That's essentially what a client is investing in.
That's
not like they're not paying for Angelica.
Right.
That's not what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah. And likewise, if they say no to the program, they're not rejecting you personally because there's something wrong with you.
Exactly. Yeah. That was hard in the beginning too. I remember doing calls and getting like 8 no's in a row. And I went from doing in-person sales my whole life. I sold sneakers. I sold this. I sold that. I was a top personal trainer at the gym because I sold myself well. I had that kind of personality. So when it came to online, I had to do like on the phone sales. I'm like, I've never heard no so much in my entire life. Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. And likewise, like I had a corporate career in sales, and then we started a product-based business. And it's like, when you're selling somebody else's stuff, or when you're just selling a product in general, for some reason, like you don't attach your worth to it. It's like, oh no, they're saying no to this product, not to me. And then all of a sudden you go into a business for yourself and you feel like you are the product. And then they say no to you, and it's like, it triggers like every fear of like abandonment and not belonging and being judged and not being worthy. And it's like, what is this?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Because when I did pharmaceutical sales, that's what I did before I got into
me too.
Yeah. And
it's
so
like,
funny. I did really well. I was like #1 rep in the country for one of the drugs I sold, but I didn't have any attachment. Like when a doctor said no, like, I don't know, we're not gonna use your product, I was just like, okay, on to the next. But for some reason, and when it's your own business, you're attached to it, and we are the brand, you know, so there's a deep level of passion and connection to what we're doing now. So it's very different. But yeah, it's interesting, the feelings that come up when you make that shift.
Yeah. Yeah. So before you decided to go online, like what revenue was your business at?
With in-person training and nutrition coaching, around $65,000 a year.
Okay.
So that was a big dip for me, because when I did pharmaceutical and medical sales, I made well over $150,000. But I left that because I was unfulfilled. And I, like you said in the beginning, I had that calling after losing the weight myself that this was what I wanted to do. So I knew making the shift from the medical sales field into health and fitness initially would be a dip, but I was there for it because it was my passion. And look where it's led me to today. So you always have to follow your passion and your gut.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. And same here, you know, making 150K plus, a lot of safety and security, lots of benefits, right? The company car, the 401k, the health insurance.
So much benefits. Yeah. Oh, the expenses, like all the things. Like, I forgot about the health insurance. Yeah. So many nice luxuries of those jobs.
Yes.
Oh, you could win paid vacations if you're a really high rep, you know, like all those things.
Yep. Yeah. And then it's like you switch to working for yourself and you're like, hang on, I'm working like 4 times as hard for half the pay.
Literally in the beginning. Yeah. In the beginning. Yeah. But that's what you got to do. You know, if you want to start your own business and you want to be successful and you want to get into entrepreneurship, you just got to put in the work in the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have to put in the work, but then there's becomes a level like what we talk about a lot in the Hypermind, like stepping back, attracting clients when you're not working. Like that's something all new to me. That's very new to me.
Do you feel like you were primarily in your masculine energy building your business?
100,000 million trillion %. I didn't even know what the F feminine energy was. It's like, I am so masculine. I am so pushy. I'm from New York originally. So I just have that like pushy, go. I told you when before we talked for this podcast, like my dad was always like, money doesn't grow on trees, or whatever that really means. I guess it's a lack statement. Like money isn't readily available. Basically, that's what he was telling me, right? You got to work your ass off to make money. So when all my friends in high school were going on ski trips and this and that, guess who was working? Me. Guess who had the car before all my friends? Me. Right? Guess who had a job in college when everyone was out partying? Me. So I've just always like hustled. That was what I called it, right? Which is really now looking at it like a very lack word. I don't like, because I love that word now. Because you don't actually need to hustle to make great money. I was just masculine. Push, go. What can I do? How can I grow? Very pushy. Very pushy. Yeah.
So when did you learn about feminine energy?
A few months ago. I'm just kidding. No, I had heard the terms kind of thrown around since I got into the online coaching world, but I never really dove into it because I wasn't there yet in my mindset. I was just so focused on growing that I was like, masculine, feminine. And in my head, I'm like, I'm probably more masculine, but I never really dove into it till actually this year after doing ayahuasca. So I went to like spiritual journey doing ayahuasca, and I felt like some of the messages she gave me, now looking back on it, because you make the connections kind of after, it comes together. And now looking back on some of the messages she gave me, I feel that they were directly related to me calling in more feminine energy. She gave me messages of like freedom, and the words came up that really are related to feminine energy. Interesting.
So that was kind of the start of like this exploration of the feminine energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I got a friend refer me to Melanie's World. So then I got, I did Femme Fatale and all those programs, and here we are, Hypermind. So so that was the start of it. Yeah. This year.
Wow. That's so interesting. So I'm curious, do you find, because for me, I built my businesses in masculine energy as well. And I had a team. What I found is that although I had a team, so I did have some support, I still maintained a pretty high level of control over what was happening. And I was delegating the work, but I wasn't really delegating the decision-making or the pressure and the outcomes of those decisions, because I really still wanted to be in my masculine. It was like, you do the work, but you do this work exactly how I want it. So I'm still in control. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious if any of that resonates with you, or if you've found a way to be more in your feminine through having your team.
It resonates with me, and I'm slowly finding a way to be more in my feminine. It comes down with learning how to empower and lead my team better. When you become an entrepreneur, no one really teaches you how to be a leader and things about company culture. And that's really what this other mastermind is helping me a lot with. So being a really great example, leading by example, empowering my team. And I feel that is me shifting more into a feminine energy there, instead of like, here's the task, do it. And if it's not done the way that like you were just saying, right, that's very masculine, very pushy. So learning how to develop the company culture, get them tied into my vision, all of that in and of itself, like that kind of movement there, I feel I'm moving into the feminine energy more.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay.
Totally. Yeah. And I'm so excited that we're like connecting on this now so that I can kind of like be behind the scenes on your journey. What I found was that until I healed the underlying energetics, which was my desire for control, my desire for relevancy, my need to feel important, the more masculine tactics actually didn't really help, right? Because like you can read every book about empowered leadership and how to get your team to step up and make decisions and this and that and whatever. But if underneath,
right,
it's like if our subconscious mind is like, but that means that I have to let go of control and I really want control because that's what keeps me safe. Probably not going to execute on that very well.
No, totally. Yeah, of course. If my subconscious has shifted, and I know that I'm a better leader and better CEO when I relinquish a lot of those controls, just like giving things away that I don't need to be doing and trusting in my team that they can do what I've asked them to do. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And that's when we like really step into our feminine energy magic too, right? Because it's like when we feel more supported and there's more space for our creativity to flow through, we get more magnetic.
Yes, the space. It's that space. It's just like really just from joining the Hypermind and being around like you guys and then the other people, my other mastermind, there's been this shift in my energy of just like up leveling and having more creative space for myself. And it feels really good. And then it just feels like the clients are magnetically flowing in.
Yes. Okay. So I want to rewind a little bit. So 3 years ago, you had built your in-person business up to like around $65,000 in revenue. Was it just you? So was that basically all take home pay? Yeah. So then
just me. Just me driving to my clients' houses. So
perfect.
Yeah.
So then you take the business online, you hire coaches. So again, in a way, you're kind of taking a pay cut, right? Because you're taking some of that income and reinvesting it into coaches and figuring out this next phase of business. So walk me through like what that looked like from a revenue perspective and how you were able to start growing with the online component.
Yeah. I was a solopreneur for almost a year. So I handled up to 30 clients by myself. So I did everything. So I did the sales, I did the marketing, I did the coaching, all, and our program's very, very involved. So after that first year, I forgot what I did. I think it was around 80, 82, maybe my first year. And then decided to hire one coach. And then we kept growing. So then hired another coach. And now we just hired another coach. So that the income, so it was like 80, then it was like 215,000. And then last year was like 700,000.
That's quite the growth curve.
Ridiculous.
I love it.
I know. Yeah. So that's so that was last year. So there was a few things that happened in 2020 that attributed to the growth. I think a lot of women gained a lot of weight during COVID. People were looking for a sense of community, and my tribe is just that. It's a very high level community. And I started an ambassador. I started like a referral program and all those things. Just growing. It's a growth. And then I hired a COO who's not with us anymore. But so now I have 3 coaches, an executive assistant, and a sales assistant. I'm in the process of hiring a sales closer.
Nice.
So I could be removed from sales.
Yeah.
To sales calls.
Yep. Yeah. We have that at my agency as well. And I feel like that's actually one of the places where CEOs and founders are slow to remove themselves. So.
Oh, totally. My closing ratio is like 100%. Of course, I've been scared to remove myself for so long. And like in January, I tried a few women. I didn't like them. I was like, no, they weren't closing. They didn't get my vibe. And then, so I've held myself back this year because I haven't wanted to hire out for that position. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm fully aware. I haven't run ads because of that, because I'm like, it's just me, so there's those things.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. So you were like, so is this going to be your $1 million a year? $1 million+?
We're not on track at the moment.
Not yet. Okay.
Not yet, but I believe anything is possible. So I'm not ruling it out, but I'm not on track. I'll put it that way. So I'm pairing very close to where I was last year at this point.
Gotcha.
And speaking with my financial planner, he's like, this year you have reinvested a lot of money into yourself between this mastermind, the other mastermind. I invested in a brand manager for a little bit to redo my brand, my colors, my logo, and all that. So there's been a lot of copywriting coach. It's been a year of like growth and investment in me and the business, personally and professionally. So would I love to hit it? Of course. Am I going to be upset? No, because I know it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that too, that like, growth is nonlinear. And especially when you're trying to build something that's quite a bit bigger than yourself, meaning you're starting to operationalize the business, you're starting to, remove yourself from some of these roles like sales, etc. It often is kind of this stair step. And sometimes it's like, feels like 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and then 3 steps forward. And I love Melanie's slingshot analogy, because often it is like that, right? You've got to hire the team first. You've got to invest first. And it's like the slingshot's being pulled back. The revenue may even dip.
You're right. I forgot about that analogy. That's what it's felt like for me this year. I've had some major dips, and I was very scarce and very lackey when I had those dips, because I was saying, and I know Melanie hates this word again, I've done it before. Why can't I do it again? I hit 6-figure months last year. Why can't I do it again? And I was comparing myself hard to those months last year, and all that comparison and all that neediness to hit the $1 million run rate every month pushed that energy away, which now I'm fully aware of. But in the moment, months ago, I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
And that was me being totally in the masculine, right? I just couldn't see it. Like, why can't I do it? I've done it before. Why can't I do it? I've done it before. Playing in your head, like, right? So that, forget the word again. Like, what's next? Moving forward, like you said, yes, hiring the team, stabilizing the team, setting my business up to be sustainable and predictable.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right about it being masculine energy, right? Like when we're in our masculine and then things start to feel like they're not going according to plan, what does the masculine energy do? The masculine grips harder.
Exactly.
The masculine tries to control more.
Mm-hmm. It made it worse. It was like, I was pushing. I was like, let me do another launch. And like, then they were going shitty. And I was like, finally, I was like, step back.
Yeah.
Step back. So it's all learning experience. I was upset about it. I'm not upset about it anymore. I'm grateful for the team I have. I'm grateful for the money that I make. I'm grateful for what I do, changing women's lives all over the world. So it's a very fulfilling career. I feel aligned. I feel totally aligned, and I know it's coming.
Yes. And aligned for sustainable growth, right? Because you probably could be doing more of these roles in your business, but there's a part of you that's like, this is not scalable. Like, I'm going to burn out. I can't run ads if I'm the only person taking all the sales calls and still be the visionary of my company.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just having a little bit of space recently, I was able to create, it came to me to create a new offer. I was cycling one day in Maui on this long ride that I was doing. And I was like, oh, I want to do this. Like, I felt the calling to do like a 6-week thing. So I just recently offered it. Like, I've never done anything like that before. I've always just had my one program and done some business coaching on the side. But now I decided, like, I can do whatever I want to do. But I never thought that way before. I'm like, I can do whatever offer I want. Why have I been so boxed in? And it's being around you ladies and seeing that you guys have a bunch of different things. I'm like, oh, I'm offering a 6-week intensive with me. It's purely mindset. It's pure, like literally for just a woman who wants to work on their mindset. It's no fitness. It's no nutrition. It's zero gut health. It is all mindset. And that's what excites me. That's what I just did my last masterclass on. So I was like, now I feel totally aligned to do that. And I didn't do like a full blown launch with it because it just came to me last week, but I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited for the next one, So
totally. It's like letting ourselves play again. And that was something that
there was no play.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And like, I found that for myself in my business where it's like, well, hang on, Like, I've built this business, and yet I still feel like there are these rules.
Yes, like trapped. Like I felt like trapped by these rules, and I'm like, well, I can do whatever I want.
Like, whose rules are they? Like,
we put the stipulations on ourselves, you know, or, you know, for me, it's coming from I don't know if you're too familiar with the health coaching world, but every health coach I know, if you've ever talked to any other one, we all basically have kind of a similar premise program. It's either a 3-month or a 6-month. It's your flagship. You get the high ticket clients, you know, so it doesn't matter if you have a big following or not, because you have these high ticket offers, right?
Yeah.
And it's just been so one dimensional for 3 years. I mean, I went from 3 months to 6 months. That's the biggest change we made, and we've elevated the level of mindset coaching we do. But other than that, like, it's been kind of the same premise. And I'm just like, I'm ready for something different, and I'm ready to let my coaches take the lead on the Fit for Life program and me really move into the business and mindset coaching space.
Yeah.
I feel totally aligned with it and ready. No, I'm not a millionaire yet, but I can certainly help a lot of ladies go from 0 to 10K months, 0 to 20K months. You know, I've done it before. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like, in just giving yourself that freedom, that ability to try something out and like keep what works. If you didn't love it, okay, you never have to run it again.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's just, I haven't played in my business.
Yeah.
It's been so one dimensional and so, maybe it's masculine, maybe just so like pushy in that sense, or just boxed in, or I don't know. I don't have the exact word.
Well, it's like, the sense that I get is that there was a lot of structure, right? It was like, we have this plan, this is what works, and let's not deviate from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's, how do we just do it more and bigger to make more money?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's like, sometimes that works, but sometimes the masculine only gets you so far. And then it's like, you have to create space so that you can receive the inspiration for the next iteration of your business.
Exactly. Yeah. And looking forward for Fit for Life and seeing how can it grow, how can it shift. And we've incorporated like breath work and more mindset coaching and offering different levels of programs, which will be exciting for our clients as well. So just shifting that and then bringing in more other things. Like I said, the 6-week intensive with me, which I'm excited about. So just little shifts.
Yeah, I love that, because it's like, if you're already in health, it's like, where does health stop? Honestly, like,
exactly. All encompassing.
It's all encompassing. It's everything.
Right.
It's like health in your marriage, health in your mind, mental health, you know, health with your children, how you feel about yourself, your self-worth, like it,
all of that.
Yeah.
And then all of that plays into your business too. So if you're if you have your own company, or if you're a real estate agent and you're looking to attract more wealth, but you're not healthy from the inside out, gut health, mindset, you're going to have trouble attracting more abundance into your world.
Yeah.
It's really teaching the ladies how to clear their guts and clear their minds to be able to attract that.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand for sure.
Yes. I'm curious about the gut health piece, because there's obviously like a lot of good science around the physical aspect of the gut, but I'm curious if you also work with like the energetic piece of that as well.
Just my masterclass this past week, it was called Wealthy Body Breakthrough. And basically I taught the 2 vital aspects to forever weight loss, the physical side and the metaphysical. So the physical side is what you just said, gut health, following proper nutrition, getting your workouts in, getting your steps in, drinking enough water. Then there's a whole metaphysical side. Our issues live in our tissues, right? Yeah. So it's teaching the energetics behind how you talk to yourself, your level of self-worth, right? What do you say to yourself on a daily basis when you look in the mirror? What do you believe about yourself? What stories have been holding you back? There's all these beliefs and feelings that get trapped in our gut. Lots of trauma, lots of energetic trauma that we've been holding on to since we're a child, even since we're in the womb, right? Yeah. And that stays with you for a long time. And if you don't do the energetic work to clear that out, this is why a lot of women get confused with gut health. They're like, well, I'm eating really healthy. You know, I was eating really healthy too, and I got leaky gut. Like, and I practice what I preach. I meditate, I walk, I eat healthy, I take rest days, but it was unresolved childhood trauma, right? Unresolved stress that I had. Just so many things get caught up all those feelings in the gut. So yeah, there's two sides to weight loss. And the metaphysical is a big, big, big one I teach. And that a lot of women don't realize. Most people go into a weight loss program, they lose a little weight, but they gain it back because they never did the energetics and the mindset of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that because I have a sense that you probably get a lot of clients that come in for the physical result and thinking that all of the tools are going to be physical tools. And then they're probably blown away by all of the metaphysical, because that's what truly creates the physical changes and gives them more joy, more peace.
Yes, totally. As I've progressed in my content, I do talk a lot about mindset. So I'll get a lot of females now saying like, oh, I was attracted to you because I see your program focuses on mindset. But initially, like maybe even just up at 6 months ago, we were getting a lot of like what you said, like, oh, like yes, I lost weight, but I can't believe how much my mindset shifted. I never knew I needed so much mindset work. But now we're actually getting more women coming to our program strictly for the mindset. Like, yes, they have weight to lose, but they're like, well, what really resonated with me, about you is like the fact that you do focus on mindset and gut health. Like a lot of programs don't make that connection.
Yeah.
So it's something unique.
That's
it's
so
unique,
cool.
It's a unique angle. Yeah. That's the stuff that lights me up.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that creates a long lasting transformation. I had to learn that the hard way too. I lost the 35 pounds of weight, but I didn't do any work in here. I did zero mindset work. So even after losing the weight, I was very unhappy. I was very lack. I was still stuck. And I had to do that inner work, get a life coach, see a therapist, read the books, do the things, work on myself. It's hard. It's still hard, right?
Yeah.
But that's how I learned all that. Because I was like, it's not just about the weight.
Yeah. And I kind of see it, like I work with women a lot on money, and I kind of see the parallels, because in the same way that, like, let's say you lose the 20 pounds, what's the first fear? Can I keep it off? Right? You hit your first 20K month. What's the first fear? Can I do it again?
Can I do it again? Can I sustain this? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. They go hand in hand. And a lot of women who have, money blocks also have weight loss blocks.
Yeah.
Go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of the women who say to me like, well, I can't afford your program right now. I'm like, well, that's also why you have 30 or 40 pounds to lose, because you keep telling yourself you're not worth it. You have a bad relationship with money. You can afford whatever you want to afford.
Yeah. Yeah. I know all of this is so connected. Like there's no such thing as like a business hat and a personal hat and all of that. Like I
agree.
It's like we have one body, we have one mind.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all connected. So connected. And that's really my message for a lot of business women that I speak with. Like, you want to grow your business, you have to work on your health. It's so connected. You may be doing well now, but imagine if you felt good every morning. Imagine if you had energy. Huge.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm so thankful. Like I've always had such good health, and I've been inside of group programs where people kind of decided whether they were going to focus like through a business lens or through a health lens in the program. And I was actually amazed at how many people chose the health lens, and then were sharing like just really debilitating and chronic, illnesses that they had. And it gave me so much gratitude, because it's like when you have great health, you take it for granted. But if you don't have your health, good luck growing your business. How can you?
Yeah. I mean, you can only grow to a certain extent, like you're going to hit a block, because you'll just feel so lethargic, so fatigued, headaches, all the things that come with poor health.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know it's so critical. So I'm curious, going back to some of the themes that we were talking about around money, how much are you paying yourself currently? Because I see in the online space a lot that if we talk about money, we talk about top line. And part of my mission is to just bring more transparency around, we might be celebrating 100K month, and let's be real, 100K didn't go into the personal bank account, right?
Not at all. Yeah. No. So I've learned to use my business like enough that I've been able to hit my financial goals. So I pay myself, it's around $9,000 a month.
Okay.
And then everything else, besides what goes into my employees, everything else, the extra all goes into things like masterminds, business coaching programs. that's really where like bulk of my money this year has gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And outside of reinvesting in the business, investing in your team, and then also investing in these masterminds and mentors to grow your business, is there anything that you do to grow your personal wealth?
Yeah, I have a financial planner and he handles all of that. So basically we have a meeting once a month. I'm not a numbers person. I like money, but I don't like trying to like divide it here, divide it there. It's not my jam. I don't know. So I have a financial planner. I have a payroll woman. So basically me and my financial planner, we meet once a month. We have the buckets and he puts the money into the buckets. So there's like stocks, there's retirement fund, there's all the things. So yeah.
Gotcha.
It's not money I would touch anytime soon, obviously, but it's for long-term investments and very risky. Like I tell him to invest very risky because I don't need it anytime soon.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great. It's nice to have that support.
Yeah.
What do you feel like were some of the biggest money wounds that you had to work on healing in order to get your business to a multi six-figure, $750,000 level?
Money wounds, that's a good question. Definitely there's more than enough. Like there's so much abundance in this world. And when you come from a mentality of hustle, 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 money doesn't grow on trees. That was like ingrained in me to feel like there's not enough. Even though I know there's millions of women in the world to help, there's so much money. Money is energy. Like I know that, I feel it. I believe that, but I think still the deep seated, like this is what I grew up with, right? From the time I was like, who knows when my dad started saying that. So yeah, that was definitely one of them. I don't really feel I had any other ones in that. I never felt like, oh, I don't deserve money. Like I never felt that. Like I'm not worth it. I don't really feel that. It's more like getting away from the hustle mentality and that there's not enough, because there is enough. There's enough for everyone.
Yeah. I call that like the hard money wound, right? Like you have to work hard. If you want to earn more, you have to put in more effort. Exactly.
That's my thing. It's like, I have trouble. Like, even if I'm sitting on the beach on a Friday and I've done some client check-ins, I'm like, okay, put your phone away and just like lay on the beach. I have trouble taking the step back because I feel like I always need to be doing something. And that's part of control, which is what you and I talked about earlier. So it's the control freak, it's the high achiever, it's the perfectionism, it's all that stuff.
Yeah. And I'm curious because I had this one too. And as I unraveled it for myself, part of it definitely was just the hard money, right? Like you've got to work hard for it. Mm-hmm. But what I also recognized was that there was another layer of it, which for me was, if I work hard for it and other people see me working hard for it, then when I have it, I won't be judged for it because they'll know I've earned it.
That's interesting. Are you frozen?
Oh, there we go. We lost you for a second. I heard you say that's interesting.
I said that's interesting, but that's not one that's come up for me a lot.
Okay. So there's not a part of you that's worried that like your family or your friends are going to judge you for having more. No.
My family and friends don't even really understand what I do.
I hear that. But like, if you're driving around in the G-Wagon and flying first class and that kind of thing, there's no feeling of like, my friends and family aren't going to relate to me or they're going to judge me for that.
I already feel like they probably are judging me for that. So
you've already made your peace with it.
I've made my peace with it. I already know based on some of the comments they've made to me that they're judging me for it. But it is what it is. It's my life.
So how do you think you made your peace with that?
Because I'm very different from them. And as I've grown into this online space and as I've grown into entrepreneurship and as I've grown mentally and gone through my deep spiritual journey, I'm just very different from them. I come from a background with parents that I love them. They raised me well, but they're very negative, very lack mindset. So I know that we don't relate on that sense. Like when I got my brand new Jeep that I paid like mostly cash for, brand new, like really nice Rubicon that I've been wanting to get. Mm-hmm. My mom saw a picture. She's like, well, hopefully your clients don't get jealous. That's what she said. And I said, no, my clients complimented me on the car and were really happy for me. So do you see the difference in the mindset? Like I was excited to share about it. She wasn't excited for me. It was just write instantly negative comments. So
Yeah.
when you say, how did I make peace? I made peace because I just accept it is what it is. And we're not on the same level energetically with that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's like when we can kind of live and let live, or Brene Brown talks about, what does she call it? It's like your postage stamp people. And it's essentially like you take a 1 inch by 1 inch piece of paper and you can write the names of the people that you care about their opinions on that.
Right.
Like,
yeah. There's like 2.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't mean to sound snotty or anything when I say this, but I stopped caring. And it could be because when I was younger, I got made fun of a lot. I was overweight. I had acne. It was rough for me, like as a child, even into high school. So I always cared what people think. And I was so self-conscious. And then I went through this whole transformation and now I'm the complete opposite. I don't care.
Yeah.
You either like me or you don't like me. You either feel my energy or you don't feel my energy.
Yeah, that's interesting. It does feel like maybe you were actually able to heal a lot of that stuff through the health journey. Mm-hmm. And whereas for some people, they're healing it through their relationship with money. For some people, it's something else, right? But for you, it was like that health transformation allowed you to heal a lot of the judgments and like stepping into your own sense of worth. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. That's why when you say like, what are the big money wounds? The only one that really pops out to me is that the money doesn't grow on trees, the hard hustle, you got to work hard. That's really the only one.
Yeah.
But you know, I never dreamt about being a millionaire when I was a child. I didn't even really know what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to be a makeup artist and my parents were like, no. So, and then they were like, you should do speech therapy because speech therapists make a lot of money. And I'm like, oh, that sounds horrible. I didn't want to do that. So I went to like business and communications and then sales. So it's just, I've always done sales, but yeah.
Yeah. I know it is. It's super interesting. Like these windy journeys, right? And it's all ultimately for our own personal evolution, right?
Yeah.
And so I love money because it can be such a great activator that gets us to look at things. And so can health. And so can these other things. And then sometimes you see people that get all of their money seemingly pretty easily at a young age. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, what the heck? And it's like, ultimately their curriculum is just a little different, which is you're getting the money so then you can see that the money isn't everything. Right? There's still the health, there's still the relationships, there's still the happiness that's aside from that.
All the other pieces. Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of us do it in reverse, where it's like, we got to start nailing our relationship with self and others and stepping into our power and our impact so that then we can call in the money and be happy when we have it.
Exactly. Yeah. That makes sense. Totally. Yeah, so I guess I've stepped in, through the health journey, stepped into more of who I am and owning my power, like you said. Still healing. I mean, we're all still healing and growing and working on ourselves. The work's never done.
Right.
Never. But having the openness and awareness, like what I want, what I don't want, what I stand for, what I don't stand for, what I'll tolerate, what I don't tolerate, and having those boundaries in my life has kept me sane and healthy.
Yeah, sane and healthy and like powerful and impactful and, you know, able to hold space for and help so many more women transform their lives. So on that note, I'm wanting you to share how people can follow you and find you, because I just feel like there are so many people listening to this podcast that are like wanting to know more about what you do and how they could work with you.
Awesome. Yeah. So easiest way would be on Instagram or Facebook. So Instagram, it's Angelica V Fit for Life. And then Facebook is just my name, Angelica Ventrice. So you can send me a message on Facebook. You can send me a message on Instagram. I'm often on both of them. So, and if it's not me, it'll be my sales assistant, but we have a very prompt response time. So we will answer you promptly. Any questions you have, happy to answer them. Gut health, nutrition, mindset, anything.
Perfect. I love it. And we will throw those links into the show notes as well. So
awesome.
Angelica, before we part ways, any final thoughts or any last message that you want to share with the audience?
Yes. You can do anything you want to do in your life. Literally. You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. So you might feel a little bit of fears, little things come in your brain holding you back, but you can really do anything you want. Just follow your gut, follow your passions, and you'll attract whatever you want to your world. Wealth, abundance, a nice body, happy life, anything.
Yes. I love it. Thank you so much for the conversation today. Thank you to everyone listening. As you listen, tag Angelica and I on Facebook, Instagram. Let us know what was most impactful for you. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. Changing the way we think, feel, and talk about money will change the world. I truly believe that. It starts with you tuning in, and it spreads when you share this show on Instagram and Facebook and tag me at mmakesmoney. And you know what moves the needle the most? Taking just a minute to leave a 5-star review on iTunes. This show isn't free to produce, so let's multiply those dollars invested to help this show reach a bigger audience each week. Thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it. And lastly, if you want more connection, more M Makes Money style riffs, and a safe place on the internet to talk about money, jump into my free Facebook group, The Money Club. It's linked in the show notes. Until next time, I'm wishing you health, happiness, and boatloads of money.